topic for discussion is perception, its process and factors. Earlier to it, in our last lecture, we discussed a lot what do we mean by perception, what is its concept, and what is the importance of perception in day-to-day life or in running an organization or institution, and how can we define perception. Now, today we will discuss what is the process of perception and what are the factors which influence perception, because there are internal as well as external factors which influence the perception. Before we discuss factors, we will see how the process of perception goes on. When we talk about process of perception, there comes perceptual input, perceptual mechanism and perceptual output. So, we will see what do we mean by perceptual input. Strictly speaking, perceptual factors in the form of stimuli cannot be strictly termed as perceptual process because they do not come under the process of perception, but anything in any setting where the events occur or which contribute in the occurrence of events can be termed as perceptual input. So, the perceptual input can be any event or any process or any objects or any people. So, wherever the event occur or the factors which contribute in the occurrence of the event can be termed as perceptual input, but we do not term them as the part of process of perception, because after that we are taking the input, then we start the process. After the perceptual input, what do? The perceptual mechanism starts, and in perceptual mechanism we first select the stimuli. So, under the mechanism of perception, first come the selection of stimuli. There are various external and internal factors related to stimuli. These stimuli can be any people, any object or any events, and some are selected for further processing and others are rejected as it is not feasible to select all stimuli, because we are talking about first the perceptual input, but perceptual input cannot be termed as the part of the process of perception. But after taking the stimuli, what do we do under the mechanism of perception? Some of the stimuli we select and some of the stimuli we reject, because it is not possible to select all the stimuli. So, we select some of the stimuli. I will discuss with you later on how do we do the selection of stimuli and how do we reject, what are the factors and what are the basis of that selection and that rejection. So, after selection, what we do? We organize the stimuli. After receiving the stimuli, organization is done to get some meaning by figure ground, by grouping, by simplification and closure. Later I will discuss with you in detail what do we mean by figure ground, grouping and simplification, closure, what exactly all these mean. So, after the organization of stimuli, what we do? We try to interpret the stimuli, because after the input stimuli, when we select some of the stimuli, we try to organize the stimuli, and after the organization, what we do? We try to get some meaning. And how do we get that meaning? When we try to interpret, because when we discussed the concept of perception and meaning of perception, we discussed and we came to understand that we interpret on the basis of our personality, our likings and dislikings, because most of the time when we interpret the things or the people or the events, so they are hardly related with the fact, because people want to see what they want and it hardly has any relationship with the facts. So interpretation of stimuli is very important, because here at this stage of the process of perception, one has to get the meaning what they have selectively perceived and organized in terms of their own assumptions of people, things and situations. See, when I say that one has to interpret the stimuli, so what an individual does, individual start interpreting on the assumptions of people, things and situation, because most of the time we already have assumptions about people, about things and events in our mind, and on the basis of those beliefs and those assumptions we try to interpret the stimuli, and that is what we want to discuss, that those assumptions and beliefs should be based on the facts, so that the perception should be real, not on the false knowledge. Because when the word false knowledge or false perception comes here in this context, it reminds me about the great political activist, critic and playwright George Bernard Shaw, who said that false knowledge is really dangerous more than the ignorance, because if people are ignorant, it is less harmful, but if people are having false knowledge, false perceptions, then it can be very dangerous. So one has to be very cautious about the perception. Then further we see sometimes interpretation becomes judgmental as good or bad, when the individual tries to interpret the things sometime on the basis of mood and opinion and on likings or dislikes. It is quite possible, and most of the time rather it happens that when one tries to make opinion, one gets judgmental in saying that this is good, this is bad, this is beautiful or this is ugly. Means on the basis of our likings or dislikings, we give opinion or judgment about a person and event. You know, it is not fair, it is not genuine, because when we become judgmental and we give opinion on our basis of our likings or dislikings, then it is quite possible that we are far away from the reality, from the facts. Because last time in our last lecture, when we discussed the concept of perception, we understood that most of the time people perceive the things what they want to see, and what they want to see, it is really far from the reality, from the facts. So it is not genuine. We'll discuss after the process, after this mechanism, we will discuss what are the factors which influence our perception, how do we perceive. And see, about this process, interpretation is affected by characteristics of perceiver or characteristics of stimuli. How this interpretation is affected? I am talking about two things. First, the characteristics of perceiver, the person who is perceiving the other person or the events or the situation. So the characteristics, the traits of the perceiver, like the personality traits or the opinion or the beliefs or the attitudes or the education or the background, family background, education background, peer group, and so many aspects of the perceiver. They they influence the perception. And the second is the characteristics of stimuli, the things, the events which we are trying to explain, we are trying to interpret. What are the characteristics behind that stimuli? They also affect the perception. So these two things affect the perception. And moreover, physical, social and organizational setting in which object is perceived may affect the interpretation. Where the event is being occurring, what is the situation that time, what are the social conditions that time. If there is any pandemic, or there is war, or there is clashes, or there is communal disharmony, or some religious disharmony, or whatever the social conditions are prevailing there, or what is the setting and what are the physical environment that time. So these all conditions, they affect the perception, because when the person is trying to interpret the things, so what are the conditions prevalent at that time, and what is the mood and condition of that person, these all things affect the perception. So perception is not a single entity, so many aspects, so many characteristics and factors, they are influencing the perception. And if we want to know the reality, it should be based on the facts, not on the beliefs and assumptions of the person who is perceiving. See, in interpreting the stimuli, the perceiver may commit mistakes in perceiving because of several reasons. When I say that the perceiver who is perceiving the things may be having some assumptions, beliefs, needs or type of personality, they influence the perception. And quite possible, while perceiving the things, the perceiver may commit mistakes, may commit errors. Later on, when we complete with the factors and process, later on we will discuss what are the errors in perception and how do those errors occur and how can we remove those errors. Later on we will come on the errors and mistakes. Right now, we'll see some auditory or visual message may not be recorded by our conscious mind, but might be recorded by our subconscious mind. By now, we all are aware that our conscious mind is not only working, our subconscious mind is also working. So, quite possible that sometime some auditory, maybe visual message may not be recorded by our conscious mind, but it goes in our subconscious mind. Outwardly, we are not aware and we are not mentioning those factors, but our subconscious mind is working on those messages, maybe auditory or maybe visual, which have been recorded by our subconscious mind. So, when we had discussed the perceptual input, that can be object, event or any people, then we discussed the mechanism. Now, after the mechanism, the third aspect is the perceptual output. What is the perceptual output? The output can be attitude, opinion, belief and impression about the stimuli, because all these contribute and these covert actions influence the overt behavior along with perception. See, when a person sees an advertisement of a product and want to buy, this is his or her overt behavior, but depends on need, availability of product and finance also. Suppose any individual goes to the market and sees a very attractive advertisement of a product, and suddenly the urge of buying that product emerges, but it depends. Many on many factors. First is whether do I really need, the buyer will think. Then availability of product, and after the deciding of the need and liking of the product, will see whether that product in particular color or particular brand is available. And the next is the finance. Do I have budget or finance of buying this product? Should I buy? Can I go for this product? So all these affect the perceiver or the buyer. Now after this, we'll see, after the perceptual input, perceptual mechanism and perceptual output, we'll see how do we select the perception, because to understand the perceptual selectivity is very important for everyone. People select those informations which interest them and others are left out, because in the very beginning, when we discussed last time the concept of perception, it was vividly clear to everyone that we try to perceive those informations, that knowledge which is of our interest, and we try to leave the other in which we do not have any interest. For example, while reading newspaper, we catch and read those news which are of our interest. Suppose you are interested in sports column, then that news will attract you. Or in you want to see some advertisement for our vacancy column, because you have to take admission or you have to apply for any post, or you have to see whether there is going to be organized any concert in the town. So I mean to say from these examples that which is our interest, that kind of news will attract our eyes. So this is known as perceptual selectivities, which is influenced by various factors. And again, this selectivity depends on many factors, because we will see, or the information will attract us in which we have our interest. So it depends on various factors. See, perception. Our eyes, in this picture we see perception. Our eyes is catching or perceiving only that thing which is of our interest. So after this perceptual selectivity and perceptual input, perceptual mechanism and perceptual output, I hope it is clear to everyone how the process of perception goes on, because we select the information which is of our interest, then we try to organize that information, and after organization, we, according to our assumptions, our beliefs and our likings and dislikings, we try to interpret and we try to get meaning which suits to us. Now, after understanding the process of perception, I'll discuss with you the types of factors which influence our perception. They come in two categories: external factors and internal factors. We'll discuss one by one what are the external factors which influence our perception and what are the internal factors which influence our perception. Let us discuss these factors. These external factors are size, repetition, contrast, intensity, motion, novelty and familiarity. Now let us discuss these factors one by one. First we will see how the size of a thing or any advertisement affect or influence the perception. Size of the stimulus attracts the attention. For example, letters of bigger size in reading a newspaper or book are selected first because the size of letters attracts the attention of perceiver. For example, we are crossing on a road, and if there is a board, there is hoarding, of any advertisement, if it is of bigger size, it will attract our attention and we will perceive that thing more easily. So, in external factors, the first is the size which influence our perception. If on the roadside there is a advertisement or any notice which is of the smaller size, letters are of smaller size, may not attract our attention. So, it is quite clear the size of a thing, size of a letter or anything attracts our attention more. So, size of a thing influence the perception. Then after the size, the another external factor is repetition. When repetition is done, that it increases the attention of the perceiver. Repeated advertisement, repeated instruction are based on this principle. For example, you are appearing in an examination and the supervisor in the examination hall announces 10 minutes or more, don't look here and there, stitch your answer sheets, and these kind of announcements, when are repeated, they attract your attention, that a student can think, yes, I have to wind up very quickly because the supervisor is announcing repeatedly that 10 minutes are more, so hardly 10 minutes are left. So, I mean to say with this example, when something is repeated time and again, it catches our attention and it influences our perception. Then after the size and repetition comes the contrast, things, colors, shapes, etc. when in contrast get more attention. Suppose at a party, color theme is given yellow and all are dressed in yellow. If anybody is dressed in different color, say red, then that person wearing red will attract more, because when you step into the hall and you see that all are dressed in yellow, but one person is not following the theme and wearing the red or maybe any other color, then that person will be spotted very quickly. So, it means if we have to catch the attention of the lookers or the perceiver, then the contrast can be more effective factor. So, contrast influences the perception. And then further, intensity. External stimuli having more intensity will be perceived more because it will attract more. For example, loud sound, bright color and a strong smell, etc. will be more catching. So, you are likely to perceive them more, because suppose you enter in a room and some good smell is coming, but smell is very strong. So, as you enter, you say, wow, good fragrance. So, it means the intensity of the sound, color or smell will attract you more. It will influence the perceiver. Then it means from this pic we can say perception is everything, because whatever you see, whosoever is before you, if you are to interpret, it means it all depends on your perception. So, perception is everything. Then motion, a stationary object will not be as eye-catching as a moving object will be. All the companies use this principle while advertising for their product also. It is quite natural. If something is lying in a stationary mode, it will not catch your attention, but if it is in motion, if it is in moving, then it will attract you more. So, it influences the perception. Then novelty and familiarity. The novel as well as familiar product or situation will interest you more. Suppose within the institution you are given new task, you will think to perform it better. If you are to perform familiar job, you will be able to perform it well as you are familiar to its ways. So, it means the new work as well as the familiar work will perceive you more, will influence you more, and your perception towards the novel work or with the familiar work will be more effective. Then after discussing the external factor, we will discuss the internal factors. First internal factor is belief. A person's own belief influences his or her perception. Thus, a person takes or perceives the things not on the basis of facts but on his or her beliefs. So, most of the time it happens that we do not bother to see the facts, to see the reality, because already about that people, about that event, about that happening, we are having our own beliefs, our own opinions, and we are seeing, we are looking the things from that perspective. So our own beliefs as an internal factor in influencing our perception. So beliefs contribute a lot in our perception. Then self-concept. How an individual perceives the things depends on his or her psychological makeup. It is to be seen what a person thinks about himself or herself. What do we think about ourselves? Because we will look that quality, that trait or that drawback in the person who is under our observation, whom we are perceiving. So our self-concept is very important, because it is the tendency of the human being to view other people on the basis of his or her own characteristics, because the individual may select those aspects which match to him or her. So self-concept plays a big role, because whatever quality we have, whatever trait we have, we will try to look into the other person. Suppose we are very honest, so we will look for the honesty in the another person, because a very simple simple fact that love begets love, trust begets trust. So self-concept is playing very important role in the perception of the individual. So I hope the process of perception is clear to you, and we have discussed the external factors which influence the perception. I hope it is clear to you. Later on we will discuss the internal factors and other things about the perception in our next session. Thank you.